July 28, 2026. The U.S. Army announced today an additional $347 million investment to accelerate deployment of containerized Patriot missile launchers across Europe. Developments in Russia and Ukraine remain central to security concerns. This report details the ongoing situation, including the recent sentencing of 2 Russian nationals in Angola for terrorism-related offenses and espionage activities linked to both nations. Air Force also conducted a significant unmanned combat air vehicle exercise this week. Over 800 armored vehicles have been confirmed lost by Russian forces since February 2022, according to Oryx visual documentation, a staggering figure representing the largest equipment loss in modern warfare. This week brings new developments regarding internal political instability within Ukraine, potentially impacting its ongoing defense against Russia. A significant government crisis, the most substantial since 2022, has emerged with Ukrainian President and Defense Minister Mikhailo Fedorov reportedly at odds over strategic priorities and reform implementation. Sources indicate a growing divergence in opinion concerning resource allocation and battlefield tactics, specifically within the sectors around Pokrovsk and Toretsk, where intense fighting continues to rage. The disagreements are occurring amidst persistent Russian pressure along multiple fronts, including renewed offensives near Kharkiv aimed at stretching Ukrainian defenses. While Ukrainian forces continue to demonstrate resilience, this internal friction raises concerns about operational efficiency and the ability to effectively coordinate responses to evolving threats. The situation highlights the inherent challenges of maintaining a unified command structure during protracted conflict, particularly when coupled with ambitious reform agendas. The need for streamlined decision-making is critical as Russia continues to probe Ukrainian lines, seeking vulnerabilities to exploit. Despite these internal struggles, Ukraine's military maintains a firm grip on key defensive positions, though losses remain substantial. The confirmed loss of over 350 aircraft by Russian forces underscores the intensity of aerial engagements and the effectiveness of Ukrainian air defenses. However, maintaining parity in equipment remains a constant challenge. The current political climate complicates. $347.5 million has been allocated to bolster U.S. Army air defense capabilities, specifically addressing a critical vulnerability within Patriot missile battery coverage. This significant investment will fund further development and deployment of a containerized launcher system designed to eliminate radar blind spots currently exploited by enemy forces. The existing Patriot system, while formidable, relies on fixed positions which can leave gaps in its defensive perimeter, particularly susceptible to low-flying drones or advanced missile systems approaching from unexpected angles. This new modular design allows for rapid redeployment and strategic positioning of additional launchers, effectively creating a layered defense network across key areas like Volgograd and Rostov-on-Don. Simultaneously, the U.S. Air Force has achieved a major milestone in unmanned combat aviation. Recent exercises conducted within the Nevada desert saw an advanced unmanned fighter jet integrated into live operational scenarios alongside manned aircraft. This marks the first time such a system has participated in a realistic combat simulation outside of controlled test ranges. The objective is to refine collaborative tactics, allowing human pilots to concentrate on higher-level strategic decisions while these autonomous systems handle routine patrols and engage threats in high-risk zones. Sources indicate this technology demonstrated proficiency in both offensive and defensive roles during the exercise, operating seamlessly alongside traditional fighter assets. The implications of these developments are far-reaching for Ukraine and beyond. The enhanced Patriot coverage directly addresses a persistent threat to vital infrastructure and troop concentrations within Ukraine. 2 Russian nationals have been sentenced to lengthy prison terms in Angola, adding a complex diplomatic layer to the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. while attention remains fixed on fighting around Avdiivka and Bakhmut, where Ukrainian troops are attempting to consolidate defensive positions amidst relentless pressure from Russian armored units. Developments elsewhere involving Russian citizens highlight the expanding reach of Moscow's geopolitical influence and potential vulnerabilities. Recent reports indicate a significant increase in drone activity along the border regions of Belgorod and Kursk, suggesting a shift in tactics aimed at disrupting supply lines and probing Ukrainian defenses. The Angolan convictions stem from an alleged plot uncovered last year involving plans to destabilize the government through a coup d'état and coordinated demonstrations fueled by rising fuel prices. The court found evidence linking the two men to providing logistical support and inciting unrest, resulting in fatalities during the protests. This case raises concerns about Russian involvement in the internal affairs of African nations, particularly as Moscow seeks to expand its influence in resource-rich regions. On the battlefield, Ukrainian forces are reportedly reinforcing positions west of Voronezh, anticipating further advances by Russian mechanized brigades. While both sides continue to sustain losses, the intensity of fighting suggests a prolonged and attritional conflict with no immediate resolution in sight. The increased drone activity observed near Belgorod and Kursk is particularly noteworthy. These incursions not only disrupt military operations, but also contribute to a climate of uncertainty within Russia itself, potentially. Several converging developments highlight a strategic realignment occurring across multiple theaters. The U.S. Army's commitment of $347 million to enhance Patriot missile battery coverage, specifically addressing radar blind spots, signals a continued focus on layered air defense against increasingly sophisticated drone and hypersonic threats. This investment, directed towards Lockheed Martin systems, directly counters the potential for asymmetric attacks, exploiting existing vulnerabilities, a concern likely amplified by ongoing conflicts globally. The deployment of unmanned fighter jets in a real-world exercise by the U.S. Air Force at the Nevada Test and Training Range represents a tangible step toward integrating artificial intelligence into combat operations. While details remain limited regarding specific tactics employed, this development suggests an accelerated timeline for fielding collaborative human-machine air combat teams, potentially shifting force ratios and operational tempos in future engagements. Simultaneously, events in Angola reveal Russia's persistent efforts to exert influence beyond its immediate borders. The conviction of two Russian nationals on terrorism and espionage charges linked to a planned coup and fuel price protests demonstrates Moscow's willingness to engage in destabilization operations within African nations. This activity, occurring in Luanda, underscores the Kremlin's strategic objective of securing access points and cultivating alliances globally, particularly among states wary of Western dominance. The internal political turmoil within Ukraine, specifically the split between President Zelensky and Defense Minister Reznikov, introduces a significant element of instability to an already protracted conflict. While not directly attributable to external forces, this leadership fracture risks hindering reform efforts and potentially impacting battlefield effectiveness in regions like Donbas and Zaporizhia. Over the next 30-90 days, expect continued refinement of U.S. air defense systems and accelerated testing of unmanned combat platforms. Russia's influence operations in Africa are likely to intensify, with potential expansion into other resource-rich nations. The Ukrainian political situation will remain volatile, potentially impacting Western aid flows and the pace of counteroffensive actions. Across these theaters, a clear trend emerges. The United States is investing heavily in technological superiority and global partnerships, while Russia pursues a strategy of destabilization and opportunistic influence peddling.